Please video like and subscribe this channel. The wedding of Princess Vilera of the Aethery Dominion was meant to be the most important political event the galaxy had witnessed in a century. Entire star systems paused to watch it. The ceremony was broadcast through quantum relays, projected into royal courts, military command centers, and civilian holos across hundreds of worlds. The union was designed to end 3 interstellar conflicts at once, a binding of empires through tradition older than most stars. And I was never supposed to be there. I stood at the far edge of the ceremonial platform, dressed in a plain service uniform, hands clasped behind my back like every other human honor escort. My role was simple: remain invisible. Observe protocol. Do not draw attention. Humans were included only because the Aethery wanted to demonstrate unity with the newer species of the galaxy. We were symbolic, decorative, unimportant. The music swelled low, harmonic tones that vibrated through the crystal spires of the grand hall. Princess Vilera approached the altar, her ceremonial armor gleaming like liquid starlight. Intricate patterns of gold and violet energy flowed across her skin, reacting to her heartbeat. She was breathtaking. Not just beautiful, but composed, distant, untouchable. She was about to marry the High Prince of the Korath Empire, a towering war-born noble whose people valued conquest above all else. This marriage would give them legitimacy, and give the Aethery protection. That was the bargain. The officiant raised his staff. "Princess Vilera of Aether," he intoned, "do you accept?" She stopped. The sound died in her throat. The galaxy held its breath. Slowly, deliberately, Princess Vilera turned her head and looked directly at me. The human who shouldn't exist. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Surely she wasn't looking at me. There were thousands of beings present: royalty, ambassadors, generals. I was just Elias Rowe, a human diplomatic logistics officer assigned to ceremonial duty because I had a clean record and no political significance. Yet her eyes did not waver. They locked onto mine with a force that made my chest tighten. The music faded completely. Whispers rippled through the hall. The High Prince shifted beside her. "Vilera," he said sharply. She did not answer. Instead, she stepped away from him. Gasps echoed across the chamber. "Princess," the officiant said nervously, "the ceremony." "Stop," Vilera said. One word. The hall fell into absolute silence. She turned fully now, facing me openly, her glowing eyes filled with something I had never seen in any royal broadcast. Recognition. "You," she said, her voice steady but raw. "The human." Security units immediately tensed. Weapons hummed to life. My heart slammed against my ribs. Every instinct screamed at me to kneel, to lower my gaze, to disappear. I did none of those things. "Yes, Your Highness," I said, my voice barely audible. "Why," she asked, "do you look at me like that?" The question rippled across the galaxy. A glance that broke protocol. I didn't know how to answer. How do you explain something you barely understand yourself? I said slowly, choosing each word like it might be my last, "because you don't look like someone who wants to be here." The High Prince snarled. "Silence, human." Vilera raised a hand. He stopped. "You may speak," she said to me. "Finish." I swallowed. Everyone here sees a symbol. A prize. A solution to their problems. I see someone trapped. Her bioluminescent markings flickered faintly, erratically. The hall erupted into chaos. "This is unacceptable," a Korath delegate roared. "Remove the human," shouted another. Vilera didn't move. Instead, she walked toward me. Every step echoed like thunder. "Do you know," she asked quietly, stopping just a few paces away, "what happens to an Aethery princess who refuses her binding?" I shook my head. She is erased, Valeera said. Not executed. Forgotten. Her name removed from all records. As if she never existed. The hall went deathly still. And yet, she continued, you saw me. She took a breath. I choose to be seen. The wedding that never was. The High Prince lunged forward, fury blazing in his eyes. This alliance stands. You cannot undo centuries of law for a human. I can, Valeera said coldly. And I am. She turned back to the officiant. I do not accept. The words struck like a supernova. Alarms blared. Diplomatic channels exploded. Across the galaxy, governments scrambled as the feed cut abruptly, but not before billions heard the refusal. Security forces surged toward us. I felt hands grab my arms. Don't, Valeera commanded. The guards froze mid-motion. I claim him under my personal protection, she declared. By right of blood and crown. That right had not been invoked in over 1,000 years. I was released instantly. Valeera leaned closer to me, her voice barely above a whisper. If you leave now, she said, they will erase me by nightfall. If you stay, everything changes. I met her gaze, heart pounding. I'm not going anywhere, I said. She smiled. Then she took my hand. The aftermath of defiance. We were escorted from the Grand Hall under armed guard, not as prisoners, but not as guests either. The palace corridors buzzed with panic and whispered fury. You've started a war, I said quietly as we walked. No, Valeera replied. I've ended a lie. In her private chambers, the truth spilled out. She had been raised for the binding from birth. Every lesson, every ritual, every friendship curated to prepare her for a marriage she never wanted. Love was considered inefficient. Choice was a threat. But you, she said, standing by the viewport, watching stars drift past, you looked at me like I was real. I didn't mean to cause this, I said. I know, she replied softly. That's why it matters. The Ethery High Council summoned her within the hour. She went alone. I waited. And waited. When she returned, her posture was rigid, but her eyes burned with resolve. They've given me a choice, she said. Proceed with the binding, or abdicate. My chest tightened. And if you abdicate? I lose everything, she said. Title. Wealth. Protection. She looked at me. But I gain myself. A human choice. You don't owe me this, I said quickly. I'm no one. You can still. She crossed the room and took my hands. You are the first being in my life who asked what I wanted, she said. Do not take that away by pretending you don't matter. Silence fell between us. Then she added, softly, but I will not choose alone. The implication stunned me. You want me to decide? I want you to stay, she said. If I walk away from the throne, I will be hunted. Discredited. Possibly killed. I exhaled slowly. I was invisible yesterday, I said. Today, half the galaxy wants me dead. I met her eyes. I'll stay. She closed her eyes, relief and fear washing over her face at once. The price of freedom. Valeera abdicated the next cycle. The announcement shook the Ethery Dominion to its core. The Korath Empire withdrew from negotiations and declared the alliance void. Skirmishes erupted along disputed borders. And yet, something unexpected happened. Other voices rose. Ethery nobles who had long resented forced bindings. Citizens who had lost daughters to political marriages. Younger worlds who saw her defiance as hope. Valeera became a symbol not of power, but of choice. We fled the capital under cover of night aboard a small diplomatic cruiser, stripped of insignia. No escort. No ceremony. Just two beings leaving everything behind. A new ending written among the stars. Months passed. The galaxy did not collapse. It adjusted. Valeera lived not as a princess, but as Valeera, learning how to cook badly, laugh freely, and argue over trivial things that had never mattered before. I watched her discover herself piece by piece. One evening, aboard our modest ship drifting between stars, she stood beside me at the viewport. "Do you ever regret it?" I asked. She shook her head. "I regret only the years I spent unseen." She turned to me. "At my wedding," she said softly, "I was supposed to give my life to an empire." She smiled. "Instead, I gave it to myself. Because one human couldn't look away." I reached for her hand. And this time, the galaxy wasn't watching.